Okay, hi everyone. My name is Faith, and I am a senior at Harvard University. And on a whim, I just decided that it would be good to maybe start a video series about my experience at Harvard, my experience in college, applying to college, and the like. Specifically, I'm doing this through Read Between the Minds, which is a college access nonprofit organization I've had the privilege of being president of for, I guess, like 3 years now. And we are just an educational access nonprofit where we believe we can increase educational attainment and help more people reach their full potentials if we stop writing people off, assuming what people can and cannot do, and start to read between the minds. And so with that said, now that I'm in my senior year of college and I'm just finishing up Harvard, and I'm not at Harvard now, but I'll talk about that a little bit more and the buildings you see in the background. But I just want to talk about the fact that I am going to graduate from Harvard completely debt-free, and I've also been admitted to Harvard Law School, where I will go back after 2 years, and I at least now plan to also graduate there debt-free. And so basically the topic of this video, I think, and I'm just kind of rolling with it, just got inspired to talk about these things because I'm just really grateful, is going through college and getting 2 Harvard degrees or wherever you end up going without incurring any debt. And so to start talking about my college process, so I am, as I said, I'm a senior, and the way that I've paid for college is through three main ways. First being Harvard's super generous financial aid. And so the way Harvard works basically, and someone else can correct this, but just to give you a kind of synopsis, is that if your parents make $60,000 or less, they will have to pay zero for you to go to Harvard. If they make $100,000 or less, they'll have to pay up to 10% of the fees that Harvard costs. So that's about $5,000 a year, which is the same as a lot of people, or actually less than a lot of people will be paying to go to their state school. And then finally, if your parents make up to like around $250,000, you're likely to end up on some sort of financial aid. And so that's something that I think a lot of people don't know about. Like in my freshman year room, there were 5 of us, and I think 4 out of 5 of us were paying less to go to Harvard than we would have paid to go to our local school, our state school. And that would have been University of Maryland for me, go Terps. And so with that said, that's like the first main way that Harvard was made accessible to me. And then the next things would be I was a Round Brown Scholar, which is a scholarship for about 10 to 20 African American students each year. And then I was a Gates Millennium Scholar, which is a scholarship given by generous Uncle Bill Gates, shout out to you, which basically covers all of the costs. And so I didn't end up having to use most of that money because Harvard was so generous, but it was something where, because I applied to college early, I applied in December of my senior year and applied like October of my senior year and then got in by December. I was able to spend the next semester and the next like 2 months before like January 1st deadline of just applying to scholarships. And like my mom was really adamant about that. My brother was in the military, and so she was like, none of my kids have had to pay for college, so that's something that I'm going to make sure you do. So I'm going to forward you all of these things. And I kind of just applied, and I ended up being like lucky enough to have basically 3 scholarships to go to Harvard University. Now I'm headed to Harvard Law School, and I'm starting to think about how I'm going to pay for the law school, because I want to stick with this trend of being debt-free. I know it's a huge privilege. Not everyone is able to do that, and it's not necessarily something you have to go for, because it may be the case that it's worth the investment, and that's what it is for most people. But for me, I was just thinking about, if I can graduate debt-free, why not? And so the first thing I'm doing is the program that I'm doing at Harvard Law School. It's one where they accept you your junior year of school, and then they want you to spend your senior year applying for jobs, and they want you to essentially take 2 years off and to become a better person before you go to law school. And basically in those 2 years, they really want you to get a job. And so the job I'm going to be doing for 2 years, I'm not sure if I can say the company, but I'm going to consulting. And the company that I'm going to is one where if you do well and they invite you to come back, they'll pay for 2 years of graduate school as long as you come back for 2 years afterwards. So already right now, because I've signed with that company, I know that if I do reasonably well in that job, they'll be willing to pay for 2 years of they'll be paying for 2 years of law school for me. It's normally for business school, and that's why it's 2 years, because business school is for 2 years, but I would be using the funding for law school. With that said, law school is 3 years, and for me, instead of just leaving well enough alone, I decided that I really wanted to get that third year paid for. So this is the first time my mom's finding out about this, but before I left for study abroad, which I'm doing right now, I actually enlisted in the Maryland National Guard, and so I am actually private first class, Faith. My plan is for the year that the company that I'd be returning to, ideally, the year they won't be paying for, I plan to use military funding to pay for. So that is how, at least for now, I am planning to graduate with 2 degrees from Harvard with $0 of debt. And my next video, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about being in Dubai, because I'm in Dubai right now. I don't know if you can see that, but that says AUD Nights because I am studying abroad at the American University in Dubai. And I know what you're thinking. You're all about that debt-free stuff. So how'd you swing that, Flapjacks? Flapjacks is my street name, by the way. Not just because I worked at IHOP, but that's pretty good because I worked at IHOP. But the way I swung that is I am actually studying abroad thanks to the generous funding of the Clinton Foundation. And so the Clinton Foundation has a William Jefferson Clinton Scholarship here in Dubai. And so now, to add like a little asterisk to the video, it is how to graduate from Harvard with 2 degrees, debt-free, and to also study abroad in lovely Dubai, debt-free. And so I will be talking a little bit more about Dubai in my next video. I guess there will be a next video. I literally just got up and decided that it would be good to start talking about this. And so I will see you guys then. Bye. I can do the little cute thing people do where they like hit the camera afterwards. Bye.